Calculation is one of the hardest skills in chess, but today I'll give you a simple system to finally master it. I'm Grandmaster Igor Smirnov, and let's jump right in. In this position, it is white to move, and if you wish, you may pause the video and think about it for a couple of seconds, and after that we will discuss it together. The first step that most players miss completely is to evaluate a position, or simply put, just to understand what is going on here. Because we're not computers, we're not supposed to calculate like everything. No, we want to narrow it down, we want to use our understanding to narrow down the quantity of options we are even going to calculate, all right? So right here, what I can see first of all is that black is up a rook. And that is a really valuable piece of information for us because it probably means that you need to go into that all-out attack or else you will lose. All right, the other important thing is that both kings are exposed and kind of weak. The black king is also exposed. If we could only bring our queen somewhere to the last rank or maybe right here, that could lead to a checkmate. Therefore, the black king is very vulnerable. That is another useful piece of information for us. All right. Now we're transitioning to the next phase. Once we understood in general what is our plan, what we're going to do, now we need to define specific moves for us to consider. And here is the golden rule. Forcing forward moves. Like, you really need to remember this thing because it may sound simple, but this is exactly what differentiates stronger players from the rest. That is how I think about positions as a grandmaster, and that is how, I can find tactical shots easily in most of chess puzzles, for example. All right, now let's break it down. What does it mean, forward moves? What I mean by that is focus your attention on opponent's half of the board. If you can move there, those moves will be the most dangerous for your opponent, and this is exactly what you want, right? And that already narrows down the scope of moves significantly because most of that territory is controlled by your opponent. Therefore, there will be not that many moves for you to consider at all. All right, now the second thing is forcing moves. What are forcing moves? These are moves which force a particular reply from your opponent. You've probably heard about those checks, captures, and threats, and here they are. These are the forcing moves. Now, if you want to go to opponent's side of the board and make threats, all right, so what can you see here? The one move that comes to mind would be queen to e7, threatening this check, and from there, potentially this checkmate, also just putting pressure in general onto black position, and it looks pretty good for white at first. But there is a downside. It is not really a forcing move. It does not capture anything. It is not a check in itself, and it does create a threat. I would say, okay, so it's a little bit forcing, but not that much. And since black now has time, they can play something like queen to c5 and initiate this exchange, and then ends up with a winning position because of their extra rook. All right. Let's take that back. What else do we have here? Do we have any forcing moves, such as checks? That is the most forcing move. Yes, indeed, we've got this check. Of course, black could capture it, but while considering forcing moves, you still need to think about them, at least for a few seconds, right? And just to see if there is any follow-up or not. So if we go there and black captures, is there any follow-up? Well, I can see that the bishop will unblock this pawn, and therefore it can go forward, right? So we go check here. If black captures, we can push the pawn forward, because that opens up this check. And here's another important nuance about this thinking. A lot of players at this point would stop calculating and would say, oh, yeah, I'm winning, right? So black can maybe like block, I check, capture, and it's a checkmate, right? I'm good. But there's an important caveat. You got to look at those forward forcing moves from your opponent's side just as well, right? Therefore, when we're thinking about our opponent, you also have to think about moves forward because they're the most dangerous to you. And here, if we think about that, we'll notice that the rook can actually go ahead and capture the bishop. And it's very important, of course, to think about that because it could be that everything just falls apart. But luckily for white, not in this case, because you can promote a queen and checkmate black. Here's the next example. It is also white to play and win, and you may try to solve it on your own, even though it's a difficult one. Happened in the World Student Championship. Again, white to move. What do we see here? First of all, as always, we need to evaluate the overall situation. Now, material balance is approximately equal. Black is up a pawn, but there are those double pawns. It doesn't matter that much. All right. Now, as for king safety, definitely the black king is very exposed, which is nice for us, while our king is nice and safe right here in castling. All right. What else do we see here? Black is underdeveloped. That is another nice thing for us, and another indicator that we would wish to attack before black completes his development. On the other hand, there is also this rook that hits our queen, and it's very important not to blunder it. right? Okay, this pawn on e4 is weak. We can capture it if we want to. So these are a couple of generalities about the position that you can see like after a little bit of examination. And the most important thing is, okay, black's king is weak, black is underdeveloped, we want to attack, but it's important to not blunder our queen along the way. Okay, then the next step is to begin the actual calculation. And remember that same golden rule, forward, forcing moves. You focus your attention on the black side of the board, ask yourself, how can I go there and make a forced move, starting from checks, then captures, then threats. What do we have here in terms of checks? We can trade queens, which is not bad because it pushes the bishop back. At the same time, that would also be just an exchange, which ideally speaking we'd love to avoid because we want to checkmate black, wish to keep pieces on the board. All right, we've got queen takes h8. Of course, it loses material, but again, just for a couple of seconds, we'd wish to think about that. Black recaptures, and then I don't see much after that. Okay, so we can disregard that. What else do we have here? There is rook to d8 check. Of course, black can also capture it, but in this case, there is a follow-up. And you can try to visualize it actually to also practice visualization. Get it follow through. So rook goes there, queen captures. Then the white queen goes to e6, delivering a check. The king has to move. And what do you do after that? There's queen to f7 checkmate. And if you can visualize that, congratulations. Now you're almost like Hikaru.
Take, and if takes, I take. If takes, queen e2, queen h4, g3, knight g3, check, c6, queen b7, knight h1, king there.
All right, now let's play this out. We go rook d8, check to the king, and black can capture it, but at the same time we can see that the rook can also be captured by the bishop, which brings us to another important point. If there are two moves which are possible, then we gotta calculate both. It's basically called candidate moves. We gotta define them and then check them one by one, because indeed queen takes d8 loses to, not to this bow slip, to this check, and after that to this checkmate. That is pretty straightforward. However, if we get it back after rook to d8 check, black can also capture with the bishop. And of course, it's very important to think about this position just as well, right? Because otherwise you're just down a rook. Okay, what can you do here? The way of thinking is still the same. Forward forcing moves. On your opponent's side of the board, go forward, make a check, threat, capture. But starting from a check. Which checks do we have here? We've got rook to f8, which does make some sense, because if the king captures it, we can then grab the rook. Alright, and the king will go for a walk, which leads to some complex position. We also have queen takes h8 here, and if the king captures, that actually enables rook to f8. Checkmate. Nice. And you see that by defining those candidate moves, we made our life easier. Because otherwise, it's very easy to go down this route and then start calculating all those variations, which seem very confusing, with a lot of moves there to consider for both sides, while instead, if you sacrifice the queen, you get a brilliant move and also a quick checkmate. In the next position, it is black to play and win. As always, feel free to try to crack it by yourself, but it is also an advanced one, therefore do not be discouraged if you cannot find the winning move here. Now, first off, as always, we're trying to evaluate the position. What do we see here? The material balance is approximately equal. We've got a rook and a pawn for two minor pieces, which is an approximate material balance. Now, both kings are exposed. The black king is exposed. White can possibly capture this pawn and start delivering checks. The white king is also not really well covered. There's also this g file that black is trying to put pressure on. Also, great for black, there is this really strange pawn on f2. It was supposed to be the white pawn there, but it got bribed and joined the dark side. Now this pawn is really close to the square of promotion. White has to blockade it, but definitely that's a big asset for black. Alright, so overall, as we can see right here, black will try to attack and will definitely try to attack the king and capitalize hopefully on this passed pawn. So that's what black is going to do. There is also this open g file, which is pretty handy for black. Cool. Now we're transitioning to the second phase, coming up with the candidate moves and trying to find the right idea. What do you think about that? Again, we know forward forcing moves. In this case, there aren't any meaningful checks we can take here, but white just recaptures and nothing happens. As for captures, we could capture right here, but in this case also, if white recaptures, they don't really see what black can do after that, and also we do not have that much pieces left after that, because, in order to put up a checkmate, you typically need at least a few pieces, right? Therefore, that does not work. All right, now we transition to simple attacking moves, but nevertheless, we still want to make moves on opponent's side of the board. So what are the attacking moves that we can see right here? There's queen to g4, threatening queen takes g2, which will come with a checkmate. And that looks nice, but there is a very important caveat. You gotta think for your opponent as well, because this is the moment where so many players mess up. They just look at this move, they get excited about that, they think, okay, I'm gonna capture the bishop, and if it moves, I'm gonna go to g1 with a checkmate. It's all nice, and they go there expecting a quick win, but then their opponent starts playing. And then you realize that there is, let's say, queen takes b7 with a counter strike. Or even better, just queen takes f2, and it turns out that this move simply dropped the pawn on f2, and which was one of the biggest black's assets. This means that queen to g4 was actually a blunder, not a brilliant idea. At the same time, we noticed another interesting thing here, that our pawn from f2 potentially helps black to deliver those checkmates. So it's not only a passed pawn, but it also controls this square. And if there was no bishop on g2, we could just play rook to g1 checkmate in 1, which gives you a hint that we may try to get rid of this bishop to somehow deflect it. And that is where knowing tactical patterns help. But I would also say that a lot of people believe mistakenly that just solving lots and lots of tactical puzzles is the way to go, and that is how you develop your tactical vision, your calculation abilities, but it's not really the case. A lot of players spent lots of time doing that and still could not find real combinations in their own games. So this way of thinking that we're talking about in this video is way more important, but nevertheless, knowing tactical patterns as a supplementary thing can be really helpful. And in this case, there is a brilliant move, queen to f3. Putting pressure to this bishop, at the same time guarding the pawn so that it cannot be captured by the white queen. And if the bishop captures the queen, there is rook to g1 checkmate. Is that all? Not really, because now it's time to think for your opponent. What can your opponent do? And we also apply the same way of thinking, forward forcing moves, because they are dangerous. Therefore, we don't want to think about something like knight to e3. Yes, it potentially guards the bishop, but it's a very passive move, and black will probably have lots of ways to win the game, right? You want to think about dangerous tries of your opponent. The ones which go forward, again, create threats, force moves. There's a move, queen takes b7 check, and that's the one we need to consider. What do you play here? Maybe just rook to g7, countering the queen? What do you think? That is a big blunder. In this case, white can also play a forcing move, then grab the queen, and end up with 2 extra pieces with an easily winning endgame. Therefore, that would be a big blunder. Instead, black should just move the king away. Alright, is that over? If the bishop captures, it's still rook checkmate. That's cool. But white also has another forcing move, queen takes d5, which x-rays this bishop. Does that solve the problem for white? Because if black captures, the white queen can now recapture. That would be pretty sad for black, but we can capture right here, and that still deflects the bishop, and now we indeed deliver a checkmate. Now, let me also highlight the main difference between weak players and strong players. Weak players start looking at their pieces and ask themselves, where can I move them? Strong players use the opposite approach. They focus their attention on opponent's side of the board and ask themselves, how can I go there and hopefully make a forcing move? And that one idea, forward forcing moves, in itself can instantly put you ahead of the crowd. And here's a little challenge for you. It is black to play and win. The position is complicated, but if you apply everything we learned today, I believe you can solve it. If you can, write it down in comments below. And if you also want to master strategy and positional play, check out this video. It covers everything you need for the middle game strategy.